just talk about, first of all, just talk about last week a little bit. I know it was a disappointing outcome, but not a bad game for you guys, really.
Uh, we played well. We didn't play as well as we could have. There's always things you could do better. Uh, I think last week was an improvement, but in my 5 years of being at Memphis, that was probably the toughest loss I've ever been a part of. You know, it's not so much the loss itself. I mean, the loss itself hurt. It's the 4-hour bus ride where you have nothing on your mind but to think about, you know, what you may have done differently, and play well or not, you still kind of go back, and because you're never going to grade out 100%. So you say, well, what if I'd have done that? Would that have changed the outcome? So it was probably the toughest loss I've ever been a part of, and that I've ever been through here.
Now that you've had a chance to kind of look back on it, though, I guess maybe grade the line's performance a little bit.
Everyone had high grades. I don't think there was anyone that didn't do extremely well. I mean, it was always just one guy. You know, you're talking about offensive line, you're talking about 5 different guys doing the same thing. It's the most unit of the whole football team, you know, it's your line. And, you know, one guy gets beat, it costs you. So, I mean, a lot of it was just when we didn't run the ball effectively, which we had a good game running the ball, but on some of our stops, it was usually one guy, or they would switch to a different alignment that we hadn't seen yet. So, as a line, we didn't let up any sacks, and I think we played pretty well up front.
When you all have a good game, everyone around you does. I mean, you said the running game was better. Taylor seemed more at ease, more comfortable. Is that a direct result from, I mean, obviously if you didn't allow a sack, I mean, he's feeling pretty good back there.
You give him you give a good quarterback a lot of time to make good reads and good decisions, and he's going to play well. And if you give a back, especially the backs we have, a little hole, and they can find a crease, and, you know, everybody loves making that big play. So with us playing well, the offense plays well, and it's more of I think it's more of a unit by unit thing. When we're getting stuff with the run, if you notice, the wide receiver core stepped up and we made those passes that we needed. When we were struggling in the passing game during the game, we started running the ball better. I mean, it's picking each other up during the game, because your games are up and down and up and down.
He's talked about simplifying things over the last couple of weeks. Can you tell a difference? Do you feel like guys are getting it more? Do you feel like when it's, I don't want to say dumbed down, I don't mean that, but when it's simplified a little?
You have a lot of young guys playing for us with not a lot of experience. Week 5, week 4, you're starting to gain some experience. So the stuff that was more difficult in the early on is now comes easier. They've seen looks to it. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's dumbed down or anything like that. The reads have just been made simpler, especially for us up front. And it always helps when you play a traditional 4-3 defense like Middle Tennessee was. So not a lot of movement. I think with Rice, we'll see the similar effect.
You talk about them a little bit. Another chance for you guys to get another one.
Oh, absolutely. I can remember sitting on the sidelines watching Rice when they came here and beat us, and it left a sour taste in my mouth. It's been 2 years now since we've seen them. So we would love to go to Rice and have a wonderful plane ride home. That's for certain.
They recover a ball in the end zone, and then you guys knock the ball out, and they get it back there late in the 4th. Is it maybe just getting a break like that can put this team over the hump?
I think we can't leave it up to chance. I think we have to win the whole time, let the ball roll as it may, and we just have to be a little bit sounder in everything.
What has Coach Miller told you all about Rice?
Well, Coach Miller came from Rice, so we give him a hard time about it. You know, he's kind of like flirting with the enemy, and but he's given us some insight. He was there not too long ago. He kind of knows how things work, and you know, coaches are all familiar with each other, especially in this conference, which is seems to be a tight-knit one, just from my 5 years of experience. So he's given us a little advice here and there that's going to help us when we go into Rice.
What do you expect it'll be like then on Saturday with Jarrell in the backfield?
I think we're going to be more surprising than last game. I think we're starting to click. If you watch the tape from our previous games, we were always off a little bit, and then you look at MTSU, we were starting to click. And now you add Jarrell back there, and you got Billy, and you got our wide receivers, and up front, I think we're going to start clicking over and over and over again. I think it's going to be a pretty productive day for our offense.
good.
All right, good deal, y'all.
And you are